Hey, I'm Hannah Hill. I'm the Policy Director for the National Foundation for Gun Rights, and I wanted to bring y'all a quick update today on our litigation program to end so-called assault weapons bans. So last year, after the Bruin ruling by the Supreme Court, we filed 7 separate lawsuits to end semi-automatic weapon bans and standard capacity magazine bans. 7 separate lawsuits in almost half of the federal circuits. So we want to bring you a quick update on that. One of the most fun developments we've had since then is that the national anti-gun organizations are jumping in and ganging up on our lawyers, so to speak. So we're talking Giffords, we're talking Everytown, March for Our Lives, U.S. Conference of Mayors. They're all jumping in and filing amicus friend of the court briefs arguing for gun control. Another example, here in Colorado, one of our lawsuits against local assault weapons bans, Moms Demand Action in Everytown are complaining that they're spending millions of dollars to keep those laws on the books, and they're losing because those local laws are now blocked from being enforced throughout the duration of our lawsuits. So that's fun, but most of the action right now is happening in our lawsuits in Illinois. So we filed companion lawsuits in Illinois against a local city, a pair of cities that had local assault weapons bans on the books. Highland Park had a more traditional ban on semi-automatic weapons. The city of Naperville, though, right about that time, were passing an AR-15 sale ban. So we just kind of tossed them in for good measure and sued them as well. Now, the interesting thing is that while those cases were proceeding, just actually very recently, the state of Illinois passed a statewide semi-automatic weapon ban. So we took a hard look at that, looked at the best way of fighting that since we're actually already in the state. We already have our legal team on the ground. What we ended up doing is taking our Naperville lawsuit and expanding that to also attack the state assault weapons ban. And we are in the process of expediting that, hopefully to the Seventh Circuit, in hopes of getting a preliminary injunction to get that statewide assault weapons ban suspended throughout the duration of the case. And the way we're doing that, because again, this started out as a local lawsuit, what we're doing is we've asked for a temporary restraining order and a preliminary injunction to block the local chief of police from enforcing the state law on our plaintiff. And that'll kind of get our foot in the door. And whichever way the judge rules, whether she gives us the temporary restraining order or not, her decision will get appealed very quickly to the Seventh Circuit. And whatever the Seventh Circuit rules will be binding on the entire state. So that's the plan. We are anticipating the judge's ruling on that very shortly. And after that, hopefully we'll be getting that ruling this week. And shortly after that, we'll be starting the process of taking it to the Seventh Circuit. So while all of that is going on, though, all these national anti-gun groups are filing amicus briefs. They're piling on, in particular, our 2 Illinois lawsuits, filing brief after brief. It's like hundreds of pages of briefs, pushing for gun control, making all sorts of bogus arguments, terrible legal reasoning, facts that aren't even actually relevant to the Supreme Court's Bruin test. And they know that. They know their briefs aren't actually worth a hill of beans, as we say where I'm from. But the reason they're doing that, the strategy behind it, is to overwhelm the court with the sheer amount of briefs. And again, hopefully turn the judge's head just based on all of that. Now, we don't have enough time to go through all of their stupid arguments. But I did want to share a couple of the highlights, a couple of my own favorites. So, for instance, in their brief, Giffords actually said this: plaintiff's test also dangerously fails to consider the potential of the firearms industry oversaturating the market to manufacture common use. So basically what they're saying is that manufacturers sold too many guns, and they did it on purpose to artificially protect AR-15s under the Second Amendment. And if you're confused, then you ought to be, because that didn't make even a hint of sense. But there's more, and it gets a little more serious, actually. The U.S. Conference of Mayors is blaming the violence problem on us, actually. And they said this: in addition to the unprecedented problem of mass shootings, the nation has seen a startling surge in political and ideologically motivated violence. This recent increase in political violence has myriad causes, but one of the most prominent is the rise of domestic extremists that harbor anti-government sentiment. So if you don't trust the government, then they're talking about you. Some of these extremists are disparate individuals who self-radicalize via online engagement. All are a danger to our communities. So basically, according to the U.S. Conference of Mayors, if you don't trust the government and you're on Facebook sharing pro-gun memes, then you're a domestic terrorist and you're a danger to our community. And you're the reason why we need gun control, apparently. So this is a good example. This is all they've got, right? This is the best they can do because the facts are on our side. They have no facts supporting their gun bans. And of course, because our lawyer is a Second Amendment stalwart champion, and he's a really, really good lawyer, he's cutting through all of that noise and bringing the courts right back to the facts, which are simple. The Second Amendment says that the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And gun bans like the ones we see in Illinois and elsewhere are an infringement of the worst sort. And if the government wants to ban guns, according to the Bruin ruling, they have to prove that that gun ban is consistent with the text, the history, and the tradition of the Second and the 14th Amendments. Quite simply, they cannot do that. And that is why we will win. But we are going to need your help to do that. Again, we are not spending millions of dollars on this. We're going up against well-funded opponents, and we need your help to keep our legal team in the field to keep them fighting. So if you would be willing to chip in with a donation to our legal bills, there's a link in the comments below to help you do that. So make sure also to subscribe to our channel for the latest news, and we will keep you updated on the progress of our lawsuits. Thank you for watching.